I'll put a little pressure on you.
A lot.
Oh,
Thank you, Ron.
Yeah.
That's warming up. There, it's getting there. I'm Greg Rynearson, like from earlier, I go by Rhino, I'm with Cops and Doughnuts and Clare. Has any of you not heard of us? In the area, we're doing pretty good. Didn't touch on this earlier, I kind of hurried a little bit earlier. But we get people in all the time from all over the world. It became a tourist attraction. And we have people come back that are locals from vacation. And I had one in just here not too long ago, and they said, you know, we were just on a trip to so-and-so, we talked to a lot of people, they've never heard of me. I know a lot of businesses that would be crushed by that, but seeing as we're going so large now, that excites me, because that means we still have a lot of people out there to draw from. So just because somebody hasn't heard of you yet is not a negative. To me, that's a very good positive. So we've got a lot of an audience to draw from. But the reason I'm here tonight is to talk about internet. We started July 1st of 2009 as Cops and Doughnuts. We put this all together in 2 weeks. In that 2-week period, my son does Rynearson web design, a little plug for him. We get a good rate with him. He had a website up for us by June 25th. By June 28th, we had hits from Great Britain. Therefore, when we opened July 1st, everybody questioned us. You put a banner up on the day that you opened, and it says that you're internationally known. How can you be internationally known? You just opened today. We deliberately did that so that we could have that up and have that, and it worked great for marketing. On day 2, we hit the Associated Press. That first Sunday, we were all over the internet. You could go to any homepage, Google, Yahoo, all of the print newspapers. They reported back to us 6 weeks later through the Associated Press that every print newspaper in the world used our story that had Associated Press affiliation. So we were blessed to get that in the beginning. But to go along with the internet since then, we had an online store. They talk about e-commerce. We had an online store up and running on the day we started. We used a place called Cafe Press that any of you could set up. You know, we had to. We put everything together in 2 weeks. We didn't have the product. It's where you can upload your logos to it. We sold product in just the first few weeks to all 50 states and 11 different countries. I would have loved to have been able to sell that product out of a bakery because our profit is so much higher. I'll tell you right now, back when we used Cafe Press, we priced it as low as we could. We made $1 a t-shirt that went out $1 a month. Some things were only 50 cents. If we could have done that out of the bakery, it would have been a good chunk of money. But it was probably, we started in July, I think in November, we then had our own online store going. Since then, we've started our second store. Our website is a second website. And it's got a lot of activity going on it, and we're working on our third website. It'll be up around October 5th. I'm going to follow my notes and where I jumped around earlier because it was a little short on time. The Facebook and Twitter followed shortly. We started July 1st. We had all this up and running. We had the website up and running. We had our email addresses going through copsdoughnuts.com. And then we brought up the Facebook and Twitter. Matt even gave me some points on Twitter. And with that, what is the best advertising that you all have that everybody says forever?
Word of mouth.
Word of mouth is the best, face-to-face. This Twitter and Facebook that we're all talking about is electronic word of mouth, and that's where it's all going today. It's free. You can spend some money on it, which we do spend some money on Facebook because we can target it. But this is the new electronic word of mouth, and that's the best advertising you have. And like Matt says, you've got to interact. Just throwing stuff out there doesn't work. You've got to ask the question, get them talking. Sometimes you're going to get an answer you don't like, but that's okay. Just have a good response back to them. Or in some cases, if it's just totally rude, we just ignore it. I very rarely delete it unless it's offensive to somebody, because it's the first time you delete it, then they're going to start posting. If you're not seeing my post, they're going to leave it off. So, but you got to ask the question, and that's one of the best ones going. With the advertising too, you can do the spot advertising on Facebook. When you're setting those up, it'll give you, let me just go to the screen for a minute too. Should have music playing in the background. See, Matt's a pro at this, and he had them all set together.
It's only because I get to go first.
That's what we pay him the big money for, or a small money.
Check from you lately. Pay you in donuts.
Didn't we talk about this last time about the other spots? You ever have people?
So is it 10 minutes down the road, you said, or something like that?
Just west of Harrison.
Will work for beef though.
Really? You know, I was gonna say, you're probably looking for the Jeopardy tune right now, I
Your
know.
internet's a little slow here.
Who's really got one of those on
No, I
their
think it's
phone?
Facebook, I've noticed that.
Are they a little
In general,
slower?
Facebook has been, even on the mobile devices, it's been, lagging today.
Happy highest active over here today.
And I thought, and it could
Yeah,
well be that,
yeah.
because I'm like, wait,
Yeah.
why is it taking something on a different internet completely, so it's.
What's going on with this?
Or,
7:05 at night too, we're coming into the peak time. But here we are, we're over here now. This is our page, you know how you talked about the picture? You see, he was talking about, we have our logo in a small area, and then we have an overview of our three buildings that we work on. Getting down here to the posts, this into it, I'll recap that in just a second. But this morning, here I put a picture with it. It's another huge donut hole Thursday, 9 flavors to choose from, see you soon. When we put content out like that, stuff sells like you wouldn't believe. I actually have gotten in trouble with the bakers. On Fridays, I will not put new product on there or special product. We have the weekenders that come an hour to 2 hours out of the way to come to our bakery, then they'd be sold out, and they don't like that. So I actually answered them one time and said, well, I won't put up on the Twitter and Facebook what we have. Oh, no, please tell us, you know, I just don't do it on Fridays anymore. That way I try to stay. But anyways, through
When do
this.
you do it now? Sorry.
What's that?
When do you do it now? Do you do it earlier in the week, or do you do it on the
Yeah, I'll do it,
weekends?
like here Thursday, it's donut holes, but when we introduce new products, it's throughout the week.
Okay.
Saturdays we'll do it sometime, and when he talked about the peak times and everything like that, Saturday and Sunday has the least amount of traffic on it. He kept, touched on it earlier in the first session, he really didn't touch on it this time. Most people are doing this when they shouldn't be, they're on the clock for somebody else when they're in the office.
Number one reason people are on social media, they're bored of work.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And I found a report out there, I actually Google searched it and found it for free, and the peak time to post anything on Facebook are Wednesdays at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The best times of the day are 11 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and 8 o'clock at night within those. They even break it down and say that you're best to post in the first 20 minutes of the hour instead of the last 40 minutes of the hour. So there's a lot of research out there you can look and find, and it's all free, and play with it. And then they all are kind of like when I was a cop, I retired March 1st because this was doing all of it. You always are taught on laws, and they always say, but consult with your local prosecutor because everybody interprets it differently. It's the same way here. You find these reports about when the best time is, but then they always say at the end, but try it out and whatever works best for you, do it.
Yeah.
And this is where you can follow this. On here, we posted this morning. 10 hours ago is when I posted it. We've had 6,392 people that saw it. We've had 11 people share it. And then it suggested to me up in the higher, it suggested to me that this was getting enough attention, this might be one that you want to boost. So I chose today, and it was because I was coming here, I probably wouldn't have done it. I chose to spend $30 to promote that. You can pinpoint those. You can go to locations, you can go to demographics and age, all sorts of different things. I chose on this one to point this boost, this $30 boost to my own friends. We have 16,000 friends that follow us. I chose to go to those 16,000 and then their friends, which in the top here, I think it will tell us. We'll get over here. The total reach that we have between our friends and the friends of their friends are in the millions. And so that's huge, you know, when all the interconnects done. We're 16,100 likes right now. That's up only less than 0.5% from last week. But we haven't been quite as active. You know, we had the weekend. I chose not to post on the day the state trooper was killed. and we just stayed silent until that evening. We did one post. So that shows all the rest of the numbers that are down. Now, it used to pop right up there, that nice big number. But, see, over here, he says, talk about knowing your people. Right here's a perfect. Of our 16,100 people, there you can see the bluish or gray are our 16,100 followers. The yellowish green in the back there, whatever you want to call it, that's Facebook overall. And you can see where Facebook people are at. 18 to 24 years of age is where everybody is at. But then look at us, and we're not a normal bakery, and that proves we're not a normal bakery. Look at there, we're more than double on the 35 to 44-year-old females, which is their demographic at the radio station, which is why they're the only radio station we advertise on every day. And it's local,
It's
it's
also the
all pleasant.
fastest growing demo on Facebook.
That right there
It's
is?
a 35, 54, or
Is it?
34, yes.
See? So we're fortunate that we fall right into that. And then even when you get up at the other, look at here, we're more than double the 65 plus. But our bakery, when you walk, he says a lot of times your social media is gonna be different than your traffic that's inside. Our customer, other than the tourist, our customer is probably 70 or older. You know, if you go in our place and just see the regular customers in it, when it's slower, we're a geriatric location. That's why we have an AED and everything else, which everybody should anyway. But it's just true. And we watch all that. Like, look at here on the bottom. Men from the ages of 18 to 24 is huge on Facebook. That's only 5% of us. That's just not our location, you know. The other thing that we do in there, to get back to the internet, we use the internet for so many things. When we started the bakery, they had just an analog dial-up line there. They had no services. We said, well, how about credit cards? You gotta take credit cards. Well, there's an ATM across the street at the Isabella Bank. They'll go over there and get the money and come back. Well, I'm like a car salesman. When they go out and almost get hit by a car, they're not gonna be coming back. I got you here, I want you to spend your money while you're here. We started out with one credit card machine. Through that dial-up line, and a lot of you probably have, you have the dial-up line for the credit card machine. Seems to work fine and everything like that. You go through a McDonald's drive-through, they scan your card over here, they reach over here and hand you your thing and go. And theirs is done probably off satellite. Well, we're that fast, and now that we're on the broadband internet, we run 3 credit card machines, an ATM, and then our map that's our guest book is also tied right into Google. And that's all. And we did a package deal with them. And it's like anything else, shop around and look and see. And you're gonna get phone calls every day, you know, these merchants.
2 to 3 times a day. Amazing.
Oh, I better be careful, it's popping up, because it shows me personal stuff too.
You got 9 nuts disabled chat.
Yeah, well, even if I disable the chat, it's gonna pop up, isn't it?
Just like, yeah.
What's that? Somebody was answering.
I was just saying, it won't show up like right on that, you can see that.
Yeah, but this shows all those numbers that's in there. Now, what else was I missing on this one? Let's go over to Twitter.
Well, let's pull that up, and the important things to note, not only are you able to use like age, location, all that, I mean, if you can even target people who who have certain interests on Facebook. Like, if for whatever reason you want to target everyone who likes Katy Perry, you can do that, you know, it's like, and that's where your money spent advertising, that's if you're spending money, mind you. That's where that advertising is gonna go. You have so many flexibilities, pretty much if Facebook has an ability to get involved in it, you can do it. One of our favorite things that you can do is, we like to sometimes throw a little ad money out there to target something we have going on to fans of WCFX, our primary competition. You can do that on Facebook. So, yeah.
Here's the Twitter now, as we were talking, and he talked about the hashtags and such. You can click on the connect, and this will be stuff that's sent directly to you, or your ad shows up in there. Here 26 minutes ago, Matt Collins favorited one of our tweets, and that's where I was saying that we were in the evening session here. And Twitter is getting so big. Back in 2011, we won the Community Excellence Awards through the Michigan Municipal League, and we won that down in Grand Rapids. Well, then last year, we had to hand that cup off, and it was at the Grand Hotel on Mackinac Island. We learned when we were in Grand Rapids, winning the award, they have 2 big jumbo screens on the left and the right of the stage that's going on, and the whole time they have their Twitter account going, and they had a hashtag for that event. So the goofier we are with our content, the more that people like it, because the cops and government is so goofy. when Bubba and I and our wives were going up there, here we are riding the boat across the water splashing. We're taking pictures and we're posting it to Twitter under that hashtag, and the crowd of 500 on Mackinac Island are reading our ads as we're going across, free of charge. You know, so many things like that. He put in the hashtag that I use there, C3 Summit. If you click on that, today the only content showing up is for Matt and I because we're the only ones using it. Actually, there was one, did you see prior?
Yeah, there's some other C3 summits that would be using the hashtag.
Right, prior to us, I think it was earlier this month that we've done. So it's just a great tool. I'll pop back over to the page here. And get back, he really stressed pictures, pictures, pictures. And we're living proof of the picture deal. We put out content. This Friday, we're starting our first jailbird dinner special. We're gonna smoke a half a chicken and all that. We threw just the text out and got very little response from it. People, you know, okay, you've got a special, and that's what he's talking about. That was a billboard type thing. Nobody cared about that. Looks like Lou Bryan's buddy there. Yeah, on Facebook's rules. But anyways, the content, we'll get it up here in a little scroll. I took that same content from our little table topper, made a picture of it, and then posted it over top of a picture of a cell block. Right here, you see this? Now that one, because I've done that, that's been shared 21 times to people that have how many? Do they have 1,500 followers or what? When they share that, that goes to their wall. Once it goes to their wall, it goes on the running wall of anybody that's at them, that are friends of theirs. So that 21 shares is pretty good. Since we posted that, there's been 3,372 people that saw it, and we've had, looks like 7 comments on it. One asked on there, I hope you're gonna do something other than corn for the vegetable. What happens this month, we're doing corn on the cob. So I answered her back and said that, sorry, but this month it's gonna be corn on the cob. And we've got 3 replies. Maybe she's, I said, sorry, this month is corn on the cob. What do you suggest for October? And then asked about the period. I said yes, and then she went on and gave us a little spiel there. And the more interactive you get like that, if she says things, then that makes that show up on her wall again, and it just keeps building from there. So it's always good to ask the question and use the picture. For targeting and advertising, I mentioned this earlier, with his picture, he would like to have sold a few more pictures of those 15,000 people. The thing that I learned through this, when I post pictures on there, you never know it's gonna go viral. They talk that it's gonna take off all over. So here we just launched our newest fragrance called Misbehaving. That's for the younger ladies. We've got all sorts of goofy stuff. So if they go there and they actually see this, they're gonna click on this. They're gonna know that they can get it inside, but it also took them right to our online store where you can then order it and have it shipped right to you. So just by putting that link, it threw them right back to our website. We're up on the top here. We can go over here, just take any place on that, and it'll then take us back to our homepage. Content on here. Of our website, this into it, I may as well, let me get this. You see this right here, live webcam? We had a pretty background, and now it's not gonna work. Our webcam gets hit so much, we're gonna work on a new caching type thing. Apparently we got it figured out. But we get so many people that go to our website, it locks it up. And that's the #1 place that people wanna go on our website. Anything out there.
The webcam?
The webcam, and you see that view there. That's the.
You just want to see other people walking around.
Right, and the other thing is goofy things that we do goofy stuff. Margaret used to work for us. We had a family come in from Oklahoma. They contacted their family in Oklahoma. Hey, we're here now, go to the webcam. They stood there and did the chicken dance, you know, on the phone, talking to them and doing it. You know, and I got that idea when I was in Key West, Sloppy Joe's. A lot of different
Yeah,
businesses now,
they
you're
do,
live.
yeah, they do that.
You know, you're live on the webcam. That is #1 thing. But video cameras, video camera's #1. If you get your website up and running, you can get stat counter for free, and it's limited on how much data you can pay some money to get more. But you can track and see what's going on with your website. That's how I know that the majority of the people go to a live webcam. After that, the #1 location they go to is looking up the location of where we're at, which is great. I know people are looking to find us. Number 2 after that is looking to go to the Alma precinct. Number 3 after that is leaving, going to Facebook. You know, then after that, it goes on down to the different places in there.
How many Dunkin' Donuts shops are there?
Headquarters is in Clare, Michigan. Everything was made there.
Yeah.
We then have a carryout precinct, a little smaller here in Harrison.
Yeah.
We have a full service, but it doesn't have everything that we consider full service in Elm. It has sit down, 2 donut cases. They do a full line of Cops coffees, including all the specialties, cappuccino, iced sweet espresso, misdemeanor muffins, and all those type of things. And that's picking up. Now the kids are back in town.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Hey Craig, have you ever thought about adding like more cameras so you see if your friends are in there type thing, you know,
Yeah.
such as the social media or no?
Yeah, there's different things, you know, that's one thing I'm gonna hit on is also having Wi-Fi in your business.
Yeah.
You know, we have enough seating now. When we first took over, we had just a bakery, we only had 14 seats. We didn't have Wi-Fi at that time, and we chose not to because we didn't want the seats tied up.
Yeah.
We now have indoor seating for 84 between the diner and the cop shop, and then another 16 on the sidewalk. Our Wi-Fi covers all that area. We're the #1 meeting location for dating in central Michigan. All the match sites, what do they tell you? Meet someplace where it's safe, right?
But it's safer than the top.
I think there's a couple of girls that glass company I've seen there, but, and now they're not shy. But no, and what's really weird, you can go to our YouTube channel. We have a YouTube channel to watch the videos on it. We had a couple that we met there. That was our first meet, and then he proposed to her there. He had us do up a cookie. We were all ready for it. I was ready, and I did a video of it, and he wanted it posted on YouTube. We're trying to get the wedding to be held there. Our city man, Pat Humphrey, said he'll do it if they're willing to do it. And we may start off with a wedding package. You know, we've got the fake, you know, the tuxedo with the elastic in the back. The goofier it is, the more the people like us. We can put serious stuff on it. The stuff about the event earlier today on Twitter, I think I did one on Facebook, nobody cares about that. You know, that's business, that's all that kind of stuff, you gotta go to work for all that. The goofier we make it. He talked about his picture taken on. The best one we had is, and I probably violated something because it was before the new rules.
Share.
I did not ask him to share, well, the way I worded it was, share this picture so that we can find the suspect. We took a Bismarck, I squished it with my shoe on the sidewalk and made it into a crime scene photo and said that it was a serious assault. I said as soon as that picture had been shared at 1,500, I started out with a larger number, it was 5,000, wasn't going quick enough, so I said as soon as it's shared 1,500 times, then the person that brings in the information that it's been shared is like bringing it in even $100. Well, it was shared the 1,500 times, but the reach was in the millions. You know, so, and that's where it's huge. 1,500 people shared it, millions of people seen it. And with that, I put our logo on the picture because I knew that would get shared, and I did that intentionally, and it worked out perfect. When the gal came in, I took a picture of her. I put some of the raspberry on her shoe, and then I played it up. She came in to turn in the information that she was actually the suspect, and she was tickled to get a $100 bill. They gave her $2 bills. I took a picture of it and threw it on there, and then that cut it. You know, so the goofier it is, you've got to play it up. All businesses aren't going to be able to be goofy probably like we are, but you just got to find that niche and interact all the people. Other things about with the internet being in there, we're big in billboards. Of our paid advertising, nothing against my 104.3, but of our paid advertising, we follow and we listen to all these guest entries that we have. We started out with a guest book, now it's the electronic online. In the bakery, there's a monitor on the wall, and all those are emailed directly to us, whether they put an email address in or not. If they put an email address into it, it's automatically set up, and it sends a thank you to them, and then asks them to join us on Facebook page. But I try to read all of those. We're literally in the tens of thousands of them that come in between the book and the online. This year we're online, we're on 500,000 people through the bakery. Now, we're only getting 10,000 people maybe, or a little over 10,000 this year to enter that. But it's a lot to go through. We watch that. Our #1 paid advertising on the billboards. And, you know, small town America is coming back. When we first started in 2009, the Bakers Association sent a president to us from New York. And he brought us some statistics that said over the next 10 years, 9,000 malls will close across the United States, and 9,000 small downtowns and neighborhoods are going to come back. And I see that happening. I truly do. like, you know, the one-on-one, they like coming in and being able to talk to the people, and, you know, the sterile environment of the hospital and all that kind of stuff. You know, they try to do their little niche in there, you know, people just don't like it. But one thing we gotta get the people to understand though, we've got 11 parking spots in our block. We've got, what is it, 8 businesses. We have 3 of them. There's only 11 parking spaces. We do get a fair amount of walk, but we get a ton of them. You see them drive by, and disappear. We got a huge parking lot across the street behind that entire block that's a shorter walk than being about 7 parking spaces out in the mall parking lot. You know, you take the front of the mall, all the way out through their safety zone, through the fire lane, through the handicapped and all that, you're a city block out of it. You know, we just gotta get people to understand it's okay to walk around. That's not internet, we need to stay away from it. Oh, and then back to the billboards, what I was getting at. I don't buy a billboard unless I can look at it, you know. They wanna sell you a billboard, and I don't buy the premium billboards. Wolverine sign that goes on a scale of like 1 to 10, I like to buy the 6s, because you can get better prices, and they like what we're doing. We get advertising for them because we're so goofy. We get news ads, and Lamar is even on board with us, which is nationwide. Well, I can't drive to all these sites. Google Street View, they give you exactly where it's at. We just put up 2 billboards in Missouri on Route 66. And before I did that, you know, they give me a heck of a price, and I could not believe the price. So I figured it's right in a strip, you know, where the town's all closed up, buildings are all burnt down, you know, and junk cars all over. We go to street, it's a year or 2 old, a couple years old, but still you can see an idea. You ask them, you can confirm it, you can spin all the way around and see what it is. You can even see the billboard you're talking about. And I did that with every billboard, the one in Florida, the ones in Michigan that they couldn't drive to, those 2 out there. So without the high-speed internet, or they have internet connectivity, I couldn't do that. So it's just endless, you know, you gotta be on this thing. So let me just check my list. Do you guys know anything I hit on earlier today that I'm not right now? The end of it, I was saving it for last.
Are you gonna touch on your Siri, because that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was great, yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't mention Yelp. Yelp
Yeah.
reminded me, and I'm like that. Yeah, Yelp. Do you guys know what Yelp is? Some do, maybe not. Yelp, TripAdvisor is another one. If you're traveling, like when we travel, I go to TripAdvisor and I check out the hotel before I stay at. People take a picture, right while you're in there, you go in, and it's a crap, you remember the instructor, people are taking pictures and posting it, you can get the reviews from real people, not the advertising. Yelp is the same thing. And on Siri here, you guys know what Siri is on your iPhones?
Yeah.
Let's just try this. No, she doesn't always work the same way. I'm looking for a good donut.
This donut restaurant named Doughnuts. Clare City Bakery is a little ways from you.
And then on the screen, I have a picture, directions, I can click it. I always used to ask it that, you know, just to keep up on things. It would give me Cops and Donuts, Robert's, JT Bakers, Wright's Bakery, and Reed City. Now, it doesn't offer any of that. It gives me a map of where I'm at, my website, my phone number. We've got 4.5 stars from 18 reviewers. Now I see it's even linked to Shop Savvy. You guys know what Shop Savvy is? Where you can take your smartphone, scan the barcode at the store, and tell you the cheapest place you can buy it. Our Cops Coffee is all over the place. I see now that it's got on there our Cops Coffee that you can buy right from that. So I dug a little deeper on this. Couldn't do it from a mobile phone, but I was able to do it with the Siri. There was some information here. I went online and grabbed all that information from Yelp. So in Yelp, you can log in. It'll take and put your business on there from your phone number, have the address and phone number, but you can log in for free. You can add content, add pictures. I do that with everything I can find. I'm in Yelp, did Google pages, TripAdvisor. We're huge on TripAdvisor. We get a community or some sort of star of excellence each year. We're the #1 spot in Clare. People log into, and we have the highest ratings. So we have a decal on the front door. Always fill that stuff up, because you never know where the newest technology is going to come from and grab it. I was shocked to have that talk to me, and it offers nothing else. I am the only advertiser that just put up. Where just several weeks ago, they gave me options of bakeries. You know, and I took it from Yelp. I should probably go on Yelp and see if those other bakeries filled anything out. They probably have. You know,
both gotta come to the store for pizza balls and so on.
Yep, well, you need to have pizza balls on here.
Yes.
You know, and you need, and
That's where we're ignorant, and our biggest challenge is we're out in the middle of nowhere over
it
there.
doesn't matter. How close
People
are you, how
love
close are
our
you?
product all over now. If
You know, they're willing to drive out of the way.
We'd be rich.
Sure, but they're willing to drive out of the way, they just need to
Oh,
know
yeah.
that it's there.
Yeah.
Go on Yelp and build it and put it all in there. And they may be driving along, they might be, yeah,
What does that cost you besides a little sweat equity to get it up?
for all this right here,
Yeah.
you know, they talked about the time, I put in 3 hours, I think in my mind, I probably put in 3 hours a day on social media, internet, and all that kind of stuff.
But if you were gonna,
Dollars and cents, what would this cost?
dollars and cents,
Oh my
you
gosh.
didn't pay anything, right?
Yeah.
It's free, but if you bought that on a TV ad or a radio ad,
Yeah,
it
that's
was
another
cheap.
Yelp.
I
Yeah,
got it.
right,
And actually, it said coffee talk is like number one of Yelp.
on Yelp right there.
Yeah.
Okay,
Is that
now
the
you went
donuts
into the
on
manual
Donuts?
search.
Yes.
What topic are you?
I just
You have to
wanted
pick, like,
coffee and
restaurant.
tea.
Coffee and tea, you
Yeah,
probably
I
would.
did do donuts, though.
Right,
I can do donuts.
I don't know if it has a donut category.
It has no donut category?
No, it is.
Is there a donut category?
It is.
It used to be a restaurant, but, and it's constantly changing, and they're always improving, and where they see the activity is that's what they're gonna do. Google crawling your pages, he mentioned having a website. Make sure that what you put in, whoever does your websites or you do it yourself, is meta tag is important. The meta tag is what grabs the content of what it is. Make sure your meta tag matches the content in your page. If Google crawls and grabs meta tags that you've got on there, that you've got diamond rings, trying to grab the people with money so they come buy your pizza balls, they're gonna see the diamond rings don't match pizza balls, they're gonna drop it. And the last thing they're gonna do is get dropped or be marked bad by Google. And they crawl off. I checked stat counter, and in the beginning, and I don't know if it's by the amount or because they're better, we used to crawl about once a week from Yahoo and from Google. Now Google sometimes will crawl multiple times in a day. And sometimes if I change the content of the site, I add a new product. When I added misbehaving, I had looked for them, I just added it a few days ago. And they may have crawled more, I don't know if that's something that triggers it, if the page has changed.
By that, you mean they're like checking to see that you're advertising the right stuff?
Right, it's called Google Bot, it's a robot, it's Google's computers, and it is constantly out there grabbing every internet website there is. It's going constantly, it's every single one on this computer. When it grabs a site that it sees, it electronically scans that whole site. And in your meta tag, if you've got diamonds, you better have diamonds on your website. You know, it's got to match up. You can't put hidden things in there. And that's going constantly, and that's huge to get that, because you want good Google placement. With us, another reason we're blessed is the Cops and Donuts. We're the only one in the world, we trademark, so hopefully we'll be the only one in the United States. We know we'll be the only bakery and the only coffee, that's what we trademark. But if you do a Google search for Cops and Donuts, we own the first. When I say own, if you've got 8 of the 10 on the first page, we've got 8 of the 10 on probably the first 3 or
You're
5
the
pages.
only thing that pops up on the first, I mean, there's a lot of like, there's articles about you and stuff like that, your Yelp page.
It's all our content.
It's your website, Facebook, Yelp, Urban Spoon, TripAdvisor, Huffington Post article, and Dime Michigan, all about you.
Right. Yeah,
And
and
that's
that,
page one.
and he mentioned some things there too, that he mentioned earlier, that if newspaper articles come out about you, make sure you go to that article, copy that link and paste it in and post it on here. You know, and I forget what it's called, but the more other people, it's called the back-ended search too, the more back-ended searches you have, the better you place. So when they go through and crawl, what back-ended is, some people maybe have some websites in your email, you get these emails from somebody that wants you to share a link and say, put my link on your page and I'll put it on yours. What that is, the more times your website is on other people's websites, that's called back-ended searches, that places you higher too. So the more people that are talking about you. Was there another part of that question? Let me finish up before questions. I'll start back up here. You can actually see this area right here, Into It, Vote Today. 2 years, you know, everything with this thing's been a dream. Things that we talked about in the beginning, you know, like billboards, we thought we would do them maybe 5 years out. We opened in July, we had our first one in September. Everything about it is just falling in place for us, you know. We've had issues with things breaking down, everybody knows what we're doing. but everything's fallen in place. About a year ago or so, there was a group that was sitting around watching the Super Bowl. Technically, because he's filming it, going to air it somewhere. You got to call it the big game now because they got attorneys want to see if they're using the term Super Bowl, so everything's called the big game. If they see the big game. We laughed about that and said, "How long until we see a cop's coffee ad during the Super Bowl?" Intuit this year is so big, and they're using it for an advertising. It's working great for them. They're going to get billions of dollars of free advertising too. But they are actually going to get it weeded down. The top prize for businesses 50 and under, the top prize is going to be a 30-second ad during the 2014 Super Bowl. It's getting weeded down to vote, which, hey, we can vote here because we haven't with this computer. You can click anywhere on this box when it's up here. So if you guys go to copsdonuts.com or on our Facebook page, it's going to take you to this page. Boom. This is all the area that I had to put in our story. And Mr. Shinovar pointed out, it should have said 40 non-family members. I would love to do that, but I didn't have that one character, so I just put 40 no family members. There's 40 employees, no family members. But anyways, from here, you click that one click and one more click here, and now this computer has voted. Every computer and every iPhone can vote once a day up through the 22nd of this month, and then it's going to change. Currently, let's see where we're at. We'll go here because we just voted. We scroll down. Most recent, of course, it's going to be us. But we want most popular in the United States. There's 4, there's 8. We're number 10 in the United States right now. In order to move on to the second stage, you have to be in the top 50,000. So I think we're pretty good at stage number 2. Then we want to go up here. How about do the most popular in Michigan, which is the only one we'll fall in. We're number 1 in Michigan. Now, all the bakeries in the United States that have entered, we're number 1. So we're in good position. In order to make it down to the final 20, you're going to be chosen by Intuit. I graduated with the How It Works in the program, so hopefully they know about us. They emailed us some questions, so I know we're on their radar. To get to that final 20, they're going to send financial people to these businesses. There's quite a lot of rules in here. Some of these businesses don't even qualify, but it just allows everybody to get on. They're going to send financial people that want to see our books. I don't know how many years. They want to see that this ad is going to be used for a business that can handle
We
it.
just want to make sure you're on the up and up.
Well, does a dog grooming business with 3 employees need a $2 million ad? What's that going to do?
No.
Yeah. For us, the spin that we've got on, I think we're in a good position. This year, we're putting 500,000 people through. We get that ad, we can handle 1 million plus through our bakery. We're open 24/7. In the summer, we'll stay open 24/7 year round. And our Cops Coffee can be put in every supermarket in the United States. So we've got a product that 30-second ad will work.
So it could be donuts. Really.
Well, but our donuts are made in Clare, Michigan, and we're going to, right now, we've been up and down on franchising. We've got a list of people for franchising. Most donut franchises fail.
Yeah.
Dunkin' Donuts right now has changed. They're no longer a donut business. If you do a Google search, you'll find their June 18th press release. They're not a beverage company. They're not a donut
Yeah, they could
company.
even sell the coffee stores.
Their coffee is what keeps them afloat. Right? And that's where I kind of come up with the idea, let's do coffee. If they're making all this money on coffee, you know, we make a donut, we have a 1-day shelf life for freshness. Paramount Coffee does all the roasting of coffee, we have a 1-year shelf life. You know, there's common sense there. It's a lot better to put out a whole bunch of coffee than it is a whole bunch of donuts. We're going to stick to the Wally Bronner theory. Wally Bronner, Bronners, we've all heard of it. How many Bronners have you been to?
One.
You don't know what Bronners is? Christmas store in Franklin?
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Their Christmas ornaments can be on the shelf forever. Keep it out of sun so it doesn't fade. And there's only one. So he did something right. And if you didn't know it, Wally Bronner got his start by Clare, Michigan businesses. You can go on their website and read about it. Businesses in Clare went to Wally Bronner. They had heard the big cities wanted to have Christmas ornaments on their light poles, and they were doing it. So Little Detroit Clare at the time thought they better have ornaments on their tree or on their poles. They went down to this big hardware where there was this younger guy called Wally Bronner that decorated the front window. We don't make those. Go ask Wally in the front window. So they went over and asked Wally about Christmas ornaments. He says, I'll make them for you. And then they do a mail order now. Like you wouldn't believe.
Oh, the people go all over.
Now back to the mail orders. Think you're gonna put a store out there and sell tons of stuff. You gotta get the niche. We've got a pretty good niche. And we sell a fair amount. In these first 6 weeks, we sold tons all over the place, and then that dropped right off. Now we probably send to about 5 different states a week. It's worth doing. Our online internet sales alone are larger than the previous Patreon. And so that it's worth doing. But we don't have trucks backing up and loading up every day. You know, we can carry it over, use a 2-wheel cart, and take it over to the post office to ship. So don't think that you're gonna throw a store out there and it's gonna take up gangbusters. You know, you gotta get it out there and it's gotta have the links and you gotta be able to get the traffic to it.
You know, it just reminded me of the Vermont Country Store. Are you familiar with that?
Yep.
I think I've been to.
Well, it's.
Vermont Country Store.
Vermont Country Store, and it's just a little store in a little town in Vermont, but it's international because of the way they have marketed via the internet. And so it can happen, no matter, you are living proof, they are living proof. Cherry Republic, look what happened with Cherry Republic.
Yeah, they have 3 locations. We sell their product in our place.
Yeah.
One of the things I like about Cherry Republic is, you know, with the competition and pricing and everything like that, when you buy their product, you sign an agreement that you're gonna sell it for no less than this amount. You know, so I know the cheapest that anybody has got it out there. You can go higher than that, you just can't go below that amount.
What products are those?
Everything, cherry-based products.
products.
There's cherry salsa, there's cherry everything. They make cherry candies. We've got a rack dedicated to it.
And
We
they
do as much
have-
local Michigan or close as we can. Yeah, and there's other locations, you know, any retailer can get it. You just have to agree that you're gonna sell it for the minimum. And their minimum, whatever you see for our price on our shelf, is 4 cents lower than that. Like they price it out, you've got to sell this jar for $5.95. We round everything to the 99. You know, my employees, why on earth did you? Because in the beginning, we were 95 on everything. All the way through, all of our apparel, everything like that. Why on earth are you changing everything by 4 cents? Well, one of my friends that works in the fast food industry, higher up in the franchising, his nickname was pennies on the dollar. And now that I'm in the business and been around it, people that are in business, every unit that you sell, if I can get 4 more cents on it, doesn't sound like much, but when I sell millions of those a year and I get 4 cents more, and all I had to do is change the price, you know, that can give you your advertising budget for the year. You know, so pennies on the dollar is a big thing. I'd rather sell 10,000 of them and make a little bit than sell 1,000 of them and make a whole bunch. Now, there's other businesses. Roger is in a position that he doesn't want to do the high volume, but he'd just like to do a few more. So maybe he wants to make $70 a picture instead of $10 a picture and only sell 10 of them, you know. It's how it tailors.
Right, it's how, like you said, it's how it tailors. Back when I was doing weddings, I got sick of doing the chicken dance every Saturday night. VFW Hall with sound productions, you know. So I said, okay, if I'm gonna have to do this, I'm jacking up my prices, so at least it's worth my while. What did that do? It increased my business beyond belief because the perception was, well, if he's charging that much, he must be really good. So you never know, but like, you know, for my end of it, I don't, because I have to print, mat, frame every picture. I don't want to be inundated with a whole bunch of little things that will make 4 cents on the dollar. So everybody's got their way of pricing it out. You know, 4 cents, it's just like when you go for your credit card. When the bank says, well, we take 4% of every sale, or we take 2.5%, holy cow, that 1.5 at the end of the year is real money. You know, it's like, it's worth renegotiating. So when he says he changed the price by 4 cents, you go, 4 cents, you know, I already picked that up. On his volume, that makes a good change. Whereas, you know, my business is a little different. You know, the time that I need to post is different than the time he needs to post. People don't look for a photograph at 3 in the afternoon. They're looking for a place to eat. They're looking for kids' clothes, savings, whatever. when you're bored and have nothing else to do, that's when you go fishing for, well, let's see what pictures are out there. Well, that happens at 9 o'clock at night. So when he says, hey,
No, that's Wednesday, 3 o'clock.
yeah, Wednesday at 3 o'clock. See, and that's just,
I pay attention.
like, yeah, like he said, they give this, time span where generally it's the best, but
It's what works.
it's what works for your business. Auto repair is gonna be different. If I need auto repair, I don't care if it's cheaper in New York State. I'm not taking my truck to New York State. I wanna see how close you are to me. Can I drag it there with a tow rope or,
So you
whatever?
have your information available.
Yeah, so anyway, I didn't mean to cut into it.
No, that's fine. Saving the best thing for last. I believe it was Matt that taught me about the hashtags. And with hashtags, you can sit down and find who loves pizza balls. You may find other people. So you go in there and you put hashtag pizza and hashtag balls, or now you don't even have to put the hashtag in, you can just put pizza balls. I did that back in 2010, shortly after setting up our Twitter account, and I found that the Portsmouth, England Police Department would call it cops' coffee breaks. When they put up and say, hey, they're called bodies over there, but they call themselves cops, just like we do here. And they put out a tweet and said, hey cops, it's coffee break at such and such. And Twitter is huge over there. Every police officer puts out their Twitter account to all the people in their community. And they started an event in 2010 called Policing Through the Ages. I sent them 1 bag of coffee and 2 t-shirts. This is mug shots on them, it's our mugs, I don't know if you've ever seen it, Cops and Doughnuts, Cops Coffee. The sergeant, Rob Sutton, and then one of the female officers wore those t-shirts and a bag of coffee. From that one tweet that I befriended him and found that they wore those shirts, they carried that bag of coffee, it caught the news over there. We filmed a TV show last year called All Over the Place USA that's carrying all over Great Britain. This year they now invited us to come over. We fly out October 3rd, 4 of us. We shipped over, you can see here, it just arrived today on Twitter. They're putting it out. They have their own Twitter account for the event. It's called the @PTTA 2013 police event. And they posted, just received a call from Heathrow Airport to say Cops and Doughnuts, Cops Coffee is limited. We have 500 pounds of coffee over there and we're going to give away in 1.75 ounce bags to the first 3,500 people that come into the event. From that, they asked us to send over pictures of our black and white Clare police cars. They have made a replica of our Clare police car. We're going to have our own police car all over there. Right down to the detail. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's Crown Victoria or if it's some British car. They do have Crown Victorias. They'll start this event with these police vehicles parading in. They've got the Starsky and Hutch car. They've got a lot of them there moving things. The only police cars that are over there are New York City, LA County, and Texas Troopers are over there, and Clare City Police, offering doing the tweet on Twitter for free. And look at the exposure we're going to get. We've been trying to get a hold of the press. Our goal is for you guys to sit here Saturday morning drinking your fresh cup of Cops coffee, watching us on Good Morning America in Portsmouth, England, in New York City at the studio, and at Cops and Doughnuts in Clare, all linked up by satellite. If we pull that off, that's another $1 million worth of advertising for free. The media has been very good to us since we started. We got 3 minutes and 15 seconds linked up live with Fox and Friends. Good Morning America came and filmed the whole day. They advertised us for a week before they ever got there. Coming later on Good Morning America, World News Now, a story of Cops and Doughnuts from downtown Clare, Michigan. We just have a niche and we grabbed it. And then we keep pushing. We're going to keep pushing the snowball. Yeah, did you have a question? Oh, okay, I thought you were starting to raise your hand. So right here is proof in the pudding, and their advertising is all over. If I go to the event, they've made up posters.
Is it called the police event?
It's called Policing Through the Ages, PTTA 2013. Here's their poster right here. Now, it's kind of small on here, but this is their poster that's gone out worldwide advertising this event. And if you read the small print down here, it's always got to be the small print. And it tells you what all's going on, the different things, the K9 units, the Cops and Doughnuts team from the USA. If you go to this area is called Gunmore's Key. I think you're familiar with the area. It's down on the port, and it's Gunmore's Key. It's a retail and historical area. If you go to their websites, which is equivalent to going to like a mall website, click on events for the October 5th, and it says right on the appearance of the Cops and Doughnuts team from Clare, Michigan, USA. Their advertising is for free, because I chose to join Twitter. If I would have never joined Twitter, this would have never happened. Yep. It's only as big as you want to make it be and the work you want to put into it. You know, when we first started, Kathy invited us up, Tony Fox came to some of their presentations, the entrepreneurs that were there. First thing they're going to tell you, if you don't want to work, go get a job. You're not going to make business. You're going to have to work into it. You're going to put a lot of hours into it. It's got to be tons. 3 hours a day is just a mess. Then I do the books for the business and everything. Ken knows me. I put a few hours into it. Yeah. And the city's seen that. They work with us. We're bringing a lot of people to town. They offered an early buyout with the day and age of the pensions. I seen what my check was going to be. I retired March 1st, got my pension March 18th, and the bakery supplements. And that's what we bought the bakery for. Yep. And donations, we donate huge. All the other 8 owners, we're all in agreement. We want to grow this business and have it help our retirement. I've retired. Al White's not retired. We're in good shape. We donate more money than the bakery used to make. And the guys are good with that. We're building our infrastructure, new roofs. We want to do the facades up front. We're waiting on the government. The government can do it, Kathy. It's a facade improvement, and the money's been put on hold now. We got to have at least 3 businesses. We got 3 businesses. I want to do it ourselves now, but if I bail out, the other 2 businesses suffer. So that's one of these.
Just, yeah, don't balance it all.
Yep. Any questions?
I've got a lot.
Ask. You know, the thing is, get on the internet. Like ISP management, Reading Township, Temple. Are you familiar with that?
Yep,
Oh, you're?
yep.
Can they get signal there for?
It's a little iffy. We got a tower somewhat nearby and another one possibly in the works. Freeman, yeah, and it's on a big hill. So that's a possibility.
Well, I can see what this can do now, being on the internet and that, but I'm the type of guy.
Now, I don't know what your volume is, but we got the high volume real quick. On a Saturday, just yeast raised donuts, we make 500 of just yeast raised, then the cookies and cake on top. So we went from 1 cash register to 3 cash registers to 2 credit card machines. When I had to wait for the credit card machine to dial out, I stand right there at different times and I study how it moves through. By switching over, I added 1 credit card machine, and I added 1 cash register, and I added 1 more donut case. I'll give you some numbers. I do $1,000 more a day than because I can turn those people over quickly.
Challenge is going to be getting on something like this to get people out for a place in Temple.
Well, you got to start building it. We weren't here like this right now.
There's
Get
nothing
the,
But he's on the
Yes,
main
there
road.
is.
They're on the main
You're
road.
But there are,
You're defeating your purpose.
Thousands of cars are going by every day.
You said it earlier. They are famous pizza balls. It's only as big as you make.
That's why they come down to 61, the world famous
And
pizza
you,
balls.
you get built on Yelp, you get built on all those, get that out there for free. When people go to ask Siri, where can I get a good pizza? If you jump on it and you get on there, it's going to tell them nearby. It might be, how far are you from 61?
Right on 61.
Or you're on 61, I mean, M115 coming down from Traverse City. There's your cash coming down. You're 6 miles out of the way. Somebody comes up and the only thing that Siri tells them is you, and you're 6 miles out of the way, and they're coming from Traverse City, going back to Grosse Pointe, and they got a pocket full of money. They're going to love to come into a place where everything's reasonably priced and get some great pizza balls. It's only as big as you make it. If you defeat yourself up front, you're done. You got to make it. You're going to build what you are.
You got to get more computer savvy because I'm ignorant to all this stuff.
So am I. I got tips from Matt. Our young kids, we have young kids. We went from 1 employee to this summer we peak out at 45. And when the young kids are there, if there's something, I'll go to them and say, hey, how do I do this?
I think you said in the last session, you said, to manage your social media, hire a kid for 2 hours a day.
Right.
We have a son that's 22 then.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you make them,
Do you think we can get him to help us?
Hire and give
Well,
them
they're
a
just set
big
it.
secret.
Everybody in here, even.
They're kids, come on, okay.
Getting people to do it too. But if you've got help on board, pay them 2 hours a day. Give them the notes. You write out the notes. This is what you want on there.
Oh, he's
And pay him
on
for an hour or
Facebook.
two.
He's on.
I get a laptop, I get on Facebook, because my daughter set me up a page personal page, and then I check my email. That's about it for the.
There's many things in your life that came along that the only way you found out how to work it was to play with it, right?
And you
Play with it, and you can learn how to do it.
How much did you know, Greg, before you?
Very little.
Yeah,
I worked
there you
at Clare County Sheriff Department from 1986. Everything was paper. I was there when the first computers came. And you play with it all the time. Yeah, I broke things. Yeah, I had technicians there getting it until, because I get into things you shouldn't. But now when you get into...
back button though, right?
Yeah, but like with these things here, get on it and use it and play with it. If you post something and it screws up and it's the wrong content, delete it.
Delete it, right? It doesn't cost a thing. People throw it out there. I threw out a picture on our business page of, is an article on firing people, because we're a business thing. I put a picture of mine with a bunch of mannequin heads and one real head that looked like decapitated. I call it heads will roll. My boss didn't exactly like it. No, fake, So you delete it. It's, you can't screw up too much because, as Matt said, 2 hours later, people have forgotten it was there. It doesn't stay forever.
I think one thing I want to do too about, if you're going to do it, you want to keep your information accurate, because people that do this stuff are furious if they go to your webpage and it tells them something wrong.
Right.
Like
Your
you
hours
open
change.
page and you close at 7 and they show up.
Yeah.
You're furious.
I can get an email right now. We changed our hours. We were 24/7 from Memorial Day to Labor Day, and we chose to change our hours on Monday, Labor Day, and start closing. My son does the website, and there's a lot of different places to change, on the website itself. But we actually are one of the few. I think we may be the only business in Clare that we have a mobile web page too. So if you go to our site, you see an entirely different website. We still shop and all that. But the banner right on the top said open 24/7. I had somebody show up on Tuesday. He had to change that one yet. He forgot about it. And they sent us an Instagram. We were leaving Mount Pleasant going to Bertrand. We drove out of the way. We got up there, and then on top of that, not only were you closed, the open sign was still on. So when you get these phone calls and they're the telemarketer, I just want to confirm the content for and you just want to hang up from them, don't. Only do the free stuff. Say, I'm not going to spend any money, but I'll confirm it. Let them put all that content out there, because you never know which one of these things that are out there that are crawling and reading all that information and grabbing it up. We do the Google page, we stay on there all the time. You got to fill all that free stuff up. It takes time, but I started here, Kathy and Tony invited me to some classes on growing the business, and you got to put the time in. I spend 3 hours a day on this. 7 days a week. 2 o'clock, 2:05. Any questions?
What's the website in Siri?
No, this is Siri in an iPhone.
Oh, yeah.
Jennifer knows all about that. And it's built in with iPhones. Now, I haven't tried it on a Droid or something like that. It's got the app. But I have the iPhone, and probably 3 weeks ago, just playing it, because it would just give me a list before. Cops and Doughnuts, Robert's, Wright's, JT Bakers, it would just give me a list. Now it speaks right to me and tells me.
Siri is an iPhone exclusive.
Right.
Android doesn't have the ability to use that technology.
But doesn't Android have some sort of voice activation?
They have a speak to, but it's all text based. Like you can speak to the phone and it will respond to you in text. So it's not quite Siri. It doesn't have a fancy voice, but you can still talk to it and it'll give you responses.
Greg, can I just throw in one?
Sure.
I was trying to clean up all of our online listings with free stuff and all of the million different databases. Because they pick up the stuff off of old phone books and stuff, and so
like a fax phone line that you don't want out there and they call.
And an old firm name will persist forever if you don't get in there and actively kill it off. There's a getlisted.org that you can go in and search the business.
Getlisted.org.
And it'll go through those online listings and give you a report, a percent score of how accurate or inaccurate you are and how many listings you have or have missed.
Can you see I'm writing that down as
Yeah.
Matt?
I'm
Even though
still
he's an
writing
expert
down.
on the social media and I'm fair at doing the end user part, this stuff is changing every day. There's new stuff coming out and it's getting better all the time.
I'm still
Roger,
pretty
give us
low
a
on
couple
5%.
websites. I could go on and on, but is there any questions?
We're proud of what you're doing though.
Yeah, we're living proof of what it can do. You gotta be determined to put the time in. So we do goofy, quirky things. Some people might sit back and think, boy, what are those dumb butts gonna do next? But you know what? That's what people like. We watch it and it's on there. You know, I squished a stupid business out on the sidewalk and I put out that we were looking for the suspect in it. That thing, you talk about shares, we were in the millions. You know, people just love the students. And before I put the picture out, I made sure I put my logo on there because as it gets shared, that's where an improvement for Roger's little deal should have had built right on there, the website, if he had a site where he could go to buy it. Like if I do things, we come out, well, we just launched our newest fragrance, Misbehaving. It's for the young girls. And to launch that out, there's a link so they can go and order that right online. Because you never know who's gonna grab it. Maybe they'll add another little tagline to it that's stupider than mine, that people like, and it goes viral. You wanna make sure your logo and your link is on it. Anything else? No? They kept everybody over and they wanted to go home.